Welcome, welcome, everybody, to the second annual RISE 2020 SistaShamon Women's Movement Meditation Reiki Workshop, which is being done virtually today. And we are so excited to have today my very dear God sister and shaman astrology just expert. And we have just gone through so much through so many years. Miss Kelly and Beard here with us today. And we are celebrating the equinox as well as grounding all of the seeds that we are planting during this time of now. So as we go into springtime, we can just come out and walk with a clearer vision, being connected as above and so below. So we thank everybody for being here today. And today we're just going to do a little bit of cleaning and clearing of our chakras and our auras to get started. And then I'm going to invite Kelly in to share with us the astrological frequency, what's going on right now for the equinox, and also what's going on right now planetarily with the consciousness and collective. And then we're going to go into a shamanic journey with some sacred rattling. And I'm also going to be sharing and activating Reiki healing light for everybody, as Kelly will do the shamanic rattling for us. And then we'll close up our journey and we'll bring it back here and we'll just ground and send out love and light to humanity as everybody's crown is activated and enlightened. And then we'll close it up for any questions or prayers at the end. So right now I just ask everybody to just take a moment wherever you are to get comfortable and to begin to feel yourself grounded wherever you are. If you're sitting, your feet are on the ground. If your bottom is on the ground, just feeling connected to whatever you're sitting on or lying on right now. And just begin to notice and observe without changing or criticizing anything. Just begin to notice and observe your body. And as we begin to notice and observe our body, just begin to notice any sensations of air or breath or sounds or movement that is all around your body. Just noticing. Now I invite you to begin to notice your breath. Again, without changing it or criticizing it or judging it, just notice the quality of your sacred breath right now. Begin to allow your body to naturally syncopate with your breath right now. Allowing every inhale to fill every cell, every organ, every tissue, every thought in your body with light, divine, white, healing light. And as you gently breathe out with ease and grace, any stagnations, all anxiety, all blockages begin to dissolve through your body, releasing all energetic vibrations that no longer serve you in this moment. Releasing them down, 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 down to Mother Gaia, who so lovingly and with great compassion takes all of these things and stirs them up into the most beautiful compost of nutriment, of strength, of glory, of power, of sovereignty, of truth, of discernment, and sends it right back up, 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 up through all of our chakras, through our base chakra, through our second chakra, through our third chakra, our solar plex chakra, enlightening how we see ourselves in the world and how the world sees us, up, 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 up through our heart chakra, spinning, spinning, spinning right now, cleaning, 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 and clearing at our heart chakra, spinning, 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 filling our heart chakra right now with divine white healing light, up and down, front and back, expanding your heart right and left, and all 22 diagonals in your heart right now. All heart wounds, all griefs, all sorrows are removed and cleansed. 7 generations past, 7 generations forward, right now. Spinning, 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 clearing, 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 moving up, 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 cleaning and clearing our throat chakra. Right now, removing all stuck words, all self-sabotage, all fear, false evidence appearing real is removed right now. Your yes will be yes. Your no will be no. Right now. Spinning, 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 clearing, 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 moving up, 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 up to our third eye chakra, our sixth chakra. And at our third eye chakra, the light is becoming brighter and brighter and brighter, connecting with the greatest light that is above our crown chakra right now, uniting us with our divine creator, our divine ancestors, connecting our third eye, our divine guidance. All muck and mire are cleared right now. Grabbing hold of the ancestors, exploding through our crown chakra, reaching through the universe, grabbing hold and linking with our soul star, anchoring at our earth star, bursting through our heart right now. We ask, we allow, and we align with the divine breath that is in every one of us, that proves that we are united as one. It is in the matchless truth of this breath that we live, breathe, and have our being, that we say, Ashe, Hotup, Sila, Shalom, Amen, Namaste, love and light. And so it is. Allowing yourself to just slowly begin to breathe in absorbing all of the love and light that has balanced our chakras and cleansed our auras and has primed the pump for our divine connection with the wisdom and guidance that will be given here today. Slowly begin to allow yourself to come back to this moment in time. And everybody just taking a deep breath. Do a little stretching if you need it. And I'm going to mute out and I'm going to bring Kelly in.
Hello, darling, and hello, everyone. Before you go, Maria,
yes, ma'am.
I want to testify because every time you said right now, I pulled a card. Then exactly at 3:15 my time, on 3:15, you rang the bells. So I'm just saying, everyone, we're here. Your mother's home, awake. Can't nobody separate us. The truth is the truth. They can, they can put on a show all day, but this is the truth. So anyway, thank you, love, for such a beautiful entree and setup of the energetic field. I liked your bells. I did hear them. And you're still out by the fire?
I am.
All right, beautiful. All right. Yes, I have lots to share. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being with us, whether it's energetically, if you're listening to the replay, or with us live. We have many people from all over the world actually joining us. And this is so beautiful because it was last minute put together, and here we are. So the things I want to talk about today, I want to start with a little bit of the energetic signature of now. I want to talk about the energetics of now because everyone's sort of feeling it and may not have a language for it or understand what it can be good for. And that's always my first question, especially in a crisis, especially when things are going horribly wrong, which happens to everyone. We all go through periods in life that are growth and development, out of comfort zone, into new territory. It can be like that at spring and fall. The truth is there's a natural rhythm to it that I love educating people on. And since I have a fairly new audience, even though some of my base crew is here holding it down, I love that. Thank you for being with us. There's a rhythm, and it's not necessarily astrologically based, but that is the language that most people are familiar with, and it's the times of year that you will recognize because you know your own birthday. And so winter, spring, summer, fall is associated with Aries, Libra, and Cancer, Capricorn. That is the time of year where we make a lot of choices and decisions. There's action, there's movement, and we don't always have the processing time we would like to have to make those decisions. It's boom, 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 boom. It's movement time. It's active. And that's about a 6-week period that's about to start on 3/20-ish, at the end of this week coming up. And that 6 weeks takes us to, in this case, spring to Beltane is the first week of May. And that's the midpoint between spring and summer. So what happens is we have this active time where we make all these choices and decisions, and we go through about 6 weeks, and we have the midpoints in each of those seasons. And they're a little bit more lunar. They're a little bit more inward directed. It's a time when you pull in and you want to ground and anchor, or you're permanently releasing things. This isn't like the usual kind of release. This is much, much deeper and usually much more permanent. So, but most of the time it's anchoring. It's anchoring what you've just did all the choices and decisions on. All the action and movement shook things up. Now you've got to settle things down and organize. And so there's a pace for this. There's a rhythm to this, what I mean. And then we have what we're just coming out of, which we're actually, as we're gathering on 3/15, still in Pisces time, we're very much ahead of the curve, which is beautiful to be together this day, still in that zone of processing, and so deeply supported by earth and water elements, which are the elements we need to actually build things, to bring things into form, and to make our lives by hand, which is another big core value for Kelly and my circle. So this is something we like to do ourselves. This is our lives. We like to be sovereign and choosing at all times the direction we want to go, no matter what the outer influences are. So once you learn this rhythm, We get to Pisces, Virgo. I'm sorry, I didn't say the signs. For the fixed time and that midpoint between winter, spring, summer, fall, we have midpoint 6 weeks in, that halfway point. And you might hear me say, if you get into any of my weekly forecasts and things, that midpoints are the best course-correcting time. So I would add that in your anchoring and grounding practice that comes after winter, spring, summer, fall, in between them, I should say, is added to that. And then we have Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sag, which precede the actions and choices time, because now it's just going to repeat over and over and over and over in that order. So the truth is, where we are now is where we do all the processing of the information, and we do it through our body. And Virgo represents the physical processing that we do, our systems, our physical systems. Pisces is our water. It's our emotional system and how we process how we feel about certain things. And Gemini processes the information and is intellectual. It's the mind. It has more to do with the facts. And truth is a little subjective. Truth is more Sagittarius's realm. Sag takes all the information in fire, that's inspiration and rebirth, and makes meaning out of it, tells a story out of it. And so Sag looks at all the processes that go on, and that's your spiritual processing, right? So we have all 4 parts of ourselves get 4 times a year to process and integrate what we're picking up, whatever that is. You're picking up energy, information, you're having experiences, your mind's telling you one thing, your heart's telling you another, your body's telling you another. How do you get that together? I have found it to be better for me when I follow this rhythm, when I honor what time it is. And you can tell what time it is by the sun. The sun is the solar infusion of light and life and source energy that we need to do anything. And it spends about a month in each of these zones, or like I said, 6 weeks. It does its thing and keeps moving throughout that annual rhythm. And so following the sun is one way to get your body in a good rhythm. You start to learn, you start to feel, this is my active time, this is my more inward time. This is the time when I need to take some time out to process, because if we don't take those time outs, they will not be given. All right? It is 24/7, 365 in this world as we're learning through this current crisis, world crisis with the virus. So we're going to talk about that. I sent out an article in that email as well that I really liked by Anew Judith, who is our queen of chakras around here. And because of Maria's opening meditation, I'm also going to link you. I don't know, Maria, if you remember looking at this video or not, but Anew did a video of the chakra meditation, which is only about 30 minutes. It's so going in our post-call notes, okay? So everyone can see it, and everyone can do that meditation with the chakras again, because I really saw that visual while you were moving us through the chakras. And I think if people had your recording and that visual, it would be really interesting just to see what happened and to teach people about their own chakras, those of you that are just kind of learning and just sort of figuring out about energetic fields and how it works. Of course, all the Reiki masters in the group, there's a bunch of Reiki masters here as well. And so this is learning how to direct the energy, learning the seasons of the year. Our bodies are already wired for this. We've gotten away from it so we can feel fragmented and disconnected. And that's when we come back to the seasons for where we at, what's the rhythm. Fall and spring are our 2 times a year where we have access to literal physical balance. And I got to tell you, they're also super active times, and there's always something popping off. And it's always going to challenge us to staying grounded and centered in our own individual truth, working with the resources and with the reach that we have right there in that moment. It can be a lot. But once you learn the rhythm and once you start to feel it in your own body, and here's the caveat, here's the extra bonus stuff that goes with this, because I am one of the children that can often be backwards from everybody else. So for my backwards babies out there, I feel you. I'm a Cancer, so Cancers move sideways and backwards before we go forward. So it's not unusual for me, and I was a gymnast, and my mother would say I spent more time upside down than right side up. So backwards just works for Kelly. But I have met a few of you, and I know you're out there. And so where winter, when some people want to go inward and be quiet and pull in, some people are going out. Some people are feeling the fire. I could testify to one angle of that because I'm a Sag rising. So my chart starts over on December 2nd. And every December, all these years, I've wanted to start a new routine. I've wanted to focus on me. I didn't want to deal with the holidays. I didn't want to deal with other people. I just wanted to do me. Well, that's what happens when the sun illuminates your first house. It's all about you. And December is just the worst time in our culture. That's all conditioned to this rhythm of consumerism that it makes it hard for us to keep our natural rhythms. But you better believe I bucked and found a way to get in my body and to honor my rhythm no matter what the rest of the world was doing. So I trained my family and friends. This is my high holy day is winter solstice. Well, that's December 21st. It's right smack in the middle of all that. But they all know I take 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after any sacred time like that. And they honor it, and it's just a beautiful thing. So if you feel the rhythm and you find a time of year that is really the time that you normally feel inspired to incubate new ideas and catalyze new routines and things like that, follow your body, follow your instincts. It's trying to talk to you. And following the moon, like I talked about following the sun, we can follow the moon too. Full moons, new moons are really good times to sync up with and to learn how they feel in your body specifically, because that's unique to everyone. Your elemental balance is unique to you. So when the moon is moving through its paces through the month, the moon makes the same journey that the sun makes in a year in 1 month. So we go through those moves quicker. It's like every 3 days the energy shifts. And if you can just get used to that and recognize that in every 3 days there's a little pause too as the energy does shift, that's what's called a void of course. But it's also what happens in the world, and it feels like a Mercury retrograde where things are kind of wonky and don't work. Well, that's because we're in a little in-between space. So I usually coach my people to use that time for meditation or a time out. And normally throughout the month, it's only 2-hour window anyway. So it's not like it's going to take you out for real. But 3 or 4 times a month, there's a 12-hour void of course, which means most of the day could be out of whack. And I've just found that it's good to know those days. That's all I'm saying. It's a good thing to think about if you're starting to feel pushed around by the energies out there. We can all get sucked into that. And so it's better to take your power back, feel into your body as to what you need, look around for what's available that can help you with what you need, the individual, because I'm also one of those proponents, if the individuals get it together, the globe will be okay. I can't fix the world, but I can fix the person I'm looking at. I can help and work with and support and influence, let's say, 1 or 2 of you here along the way. So I stay in my lane. There's world servers. There's people out there absolutely built for that and wired for that. I've just learned my lane. And so I like helping people figure out what they can do for themselves that can help them deal with life a little better. And that's what these practices will help us do, and what kind of knowing what time it is will help us do. So if I move into the energetics of now, like I've talked about the annual rhythm, I want you to have sort of an underlying theme of things. So theoretically, winter solstice, December time, is that conception time, because really we go into it with access to the ancestors. Scorpio is the conception. Sag is that higher vision that we connect to. And then we come out in Capricorn, which is December, January, with wanting to build something or put it down in form of some kind, give it a structure. And then Aquarius says serve humanity in some way. Pisces says keep us together some way. Let's make it whole. Let's not be fragmented and all over the place with it. Let's integrate. And then Aries is like, let's be it. Let's go be it. Taurus wants to enjoy it. Gemini wants to talk about it. Cancer wants to protect it. It's really interesting. Leo wants to play with it. Virgo just wants it done right. Libra wants balance and happy units. Scorpio is back to conception and power and understanding our power. And we all have these energies in our signature somewhere. Some people have them activated, which means you're really learning lessons this lifetime that have to do with those signs and things like that. But if you have empty houses or signs that are not activated, they still rule areas of life that kind of light up when the planets are there, because it's bringing activity to that area of your life. And it's something else that I've learned along the way to follow. I'll give you an example. When I was with my husband, we dated for 5 years before we got married. I didn't really look at his chart because we didn't really talk about that stuff. Then we had a couple fights. And I was like, hold up, time out. I need to see your chart. And I started paying more attention, and I got to tell you, if Mars and Pluto are stirring the cauldron, you're gonna have some issues if you're not aware. And those fights that I became aware of when I saw a pattern was totally avoidable if I had seen that energetic signature first. And I would have known how to go about I probably still would have had something to say, but it would have got said a different way. And it wouldn't be annihilating like Pluto can be. So it's like knowing how much power you need to exert in any given moment. Unfortunately, because we're in such survival mode, most of us, that fight, flight, or freeze aspect can be triggered over and over when things like the world stuff that's going on right now happen. So that's, again, when you want to pull back in, know your own signature, know what you're made of, and then know what's going on in the sky, because as above, so below, and as below, so above. And we go further to say as within, so without, because that's where it all starts. We conceive these stories we're living. We conceive the reality we're experiencing. It is through your filter that you are experiencing life. So it's important for that filter to be cleaned periodically. It's important for you to look at life from a different angle periodically, because it gives you ideas. It's important for us to gather like this in groups, because this is when we share our wisdom and we get ideas for how to go about things. And it's been really fruitful for us to gather lately. So with the Mercury retrograde that we're just on the tail end of, we're still in shadow. It's really over. So you should be done with the hardest part of it. It was in Pisces, Aquarius, so I feel like we were still in that conception, womb, development of the vision for 2020 zone. So we're coming out of that, and we are heading towards spring when it does get more active, and you're going to have to commit to something and make a choice for this year. So think about what that may be. At the same time, honor what you just came through. Like when I have a little list here of retro effects, divine delays and revealing reversals. Have we not all been through a little batch of those lately? Possibly change thinking altogether. Let's just 1, 2, 3 switch. Kelly does it all the time. Turning points, new or different direction. This is what happens with a Mercury retrograde. And then, of course, most people have heard about the RE-words, R-E, review, revision, realign, redesign, reorder. Just go back over. You missed something. And this is the thing. Mercury does that 3 times a year. So my other advice, standard advice, is that we do a data dump 3 times a year at a minimum. We give our mental body a break 3 to 4 times a year, because sometimes we squeeze the 4th one in, and that's a crazy year too. And it's important that we do that as human beings, though, because our monkey mind is just really needs to be tamed and controlled in a certain way. And so if we start feeling the rhythm and we start paying attention to these various times of year that are repetitive, what changes is we change, we evolve, and then the elements available to work with change. And so even those cycles repeat and they just go the same rhythm over and over, like I said, winter, spring, summer, fall, midpoints in between them, processing times in between that. It repeats over and over like that. But the alignments and the sky pattern and where we are as human beings and where we are with the people around us and our communities and things, that evolves. So we can always choose to respond in a new way when the cycle comes back around. And you just have to pay attention for 1 or 2 cycles. Like right now, pay attention spring to fall, 6 months. This is our spring seed time. Fall is our fall harvest time. So in 6 months, everything we sort of choose at this point is going to come into its fullness by then. It's going to be solid. It's going to be what it is. And that's when we start pruning on the backside of what didn't work. And it's okay. Think of your life as a garden. This is what Shanta and I are going to talk about on Thursday for our spring equinox offering, is the garden of the soul. This is where we plant everything, food, sustenance, beauty, flowers. Everything is in our garden, and we want to plant that in a way that everything grows well together, because we know that there are certain plants you can't put together or they'll choke each other out. And we know there's certain people you can't put as neighbors or they'll choke each other out too. So let's not do that. Let's think about our garden of our bodies. Start with you, the individual, and then work out with your family and communities from there. And I'm telling you, just a little bit of practice goes a long way, and it helps alleviate dumb stuff. It's a way to go, let's just say. And the other thing about the distractions of madness and chaos and taking you out of your center that worldly chaos can do is, first of all, you need a practice that gets you back in your center. I have a thing where, is it relevant? Is it useful? That's what I ask. When something's trying to distract me in some kind of way, is it relevant or useful to what I'm doing right now? Does it have anything to do with my goal? If not, it's got to wait. I'm just pretty vigilant about that because I can get pulled in a lot of directions too. And so I want to let you know on the front end of 2020 specifically, and where we're gathering now, it's around the 15th of March, we're in a zone that it is a good time to remind you. I have YouTube that you can go review for the details, but I just want to kind of put it on your radar that this is a year of miracles. We have access to miracles this year. The planets that are coming together, Jupiter has a 12-year cycle, and Neptune has a 165-year cycle. I can't even do the math that it takes to put those two together and get them lined up in certain ways. So this is happening in February 20th, July 27th, and October 12th are the dates. I'm going to suggest really good prayer days for those days, but they're the days you pray for miracles, and you connect to miracles, and you create the alignment in your system that is ready to receive miracles. And don't be distracted. Don't let anyone take you out of that truth, because that is the truth, and it takes a lot to get them to line up like this. And it's in Capricorn and Pisces, so it's all about the vision for all of us, Capricorn, that we can maintain as individuals. Do you see what I mean? When we are individuals that are part of a whole, which as we move into the Aquarian age, which is part of why it's so dramatic and distracting and chaotic, because we are at the birth of a new age. And it's the age of humanity. The dominant, patriarchal, elite, whatever, is going down, whether they like it or not. They can't fight this. This is a cycle. And this is a bigger cycle than our little 100 years on the planet can really process. But I've done a lot of studying of the social and collective cycles, and this is completely natural, even down to the climate change. I mean, we're making it worse, don't get me wrong. But Earth has a 26,000-year cycle that does this. It goes through ice times, it goes through cold times and hot times. This is part of it. So this is another reason why at the balance points of spring and fall, we have to totally connect to the balance that's possible for our mind, body, spirits, and souls. It's vital that you tell your little human that you are balanced, that you have access to balance and you know how to maintain it. And whatever little practices work for you. But we have access to the miracle energies. We also have a complete rebirth of a truth and story. So what's happening with Jupiter is last year it gave us a sort of crisis of faith. 2019 really pushed people to the limits of their consciousness, like to process what they were seeing and witnessing in world crazy, and then personal individual crazy too. You know, it was all around. This year it's shifted. It's moved into an earth sign and linked up with Pluto, the ultimate permanent transformer. So right now we are calling in the faith and the trust that God is the source of our supply. Mother Earth knows how to correct herself and create balances, which I think is somewhat what's happening with these worldly events, is helping Mother regulate. If we stop flying for 5 minutes, it creates a huge dent in what we're releasing into the ozone layer just by not flying for 30 days. It's unbelievable the numbers that they're putting out of what this is saving for the planet versus corporate America and the money and all that. You know, like, I don't really care what their losses are. But it's affecting us in other ways, so we have to have a way to stay true in our bodies and stay on this earth. Because those of us who can stay connected that way, we can navigate. But if you're disconnected and you're in virtual reality all the time, you're going to walk into a wall. Think about it. Think about the people that wear those goggles and really go into virtual reality. If they weren't held in whatever space they're held in, they would walk into a wall doing it that way. We're going to stay in our bodies and our breath, and we're going to breathe deeply and regulate ourselves. Go back to the heart. Your heart is the only electromagnetic organ in your body which connects you to the core of the earth, the electromagnetic core, and the electromagnetic shield. So what your heart does is it pumps energy and light that surrounds you, the individual, and then flows out to connect with the other light. You can infuse that morning, noon, and night, you know, whenever you feel the need to. But seeing your heart with the light flowing in and flowing out is a really good practice to get into as well. And so that activation that I was talking about is a rebirth of our consciousness. It's a rebirth of what we do care about and how can we take care of the people, okay? Because Cancer Capricorn is all about the people. It's ruled by the moon and Saturn. It's like, what's practical for the people? And this is where Jupiter is now moved and linked up with Pluto. So we're changing, and we're also taking Capricorn back from the patriarchal kind of definition and redefining it as the Council of Grandmothers. So the energy of our consciousness has just synced up with the elders. And it's not just the grandmothers, it's the grandfathers too, the elders. They are with us, they're watching, they're helping, they're participating. And so on these dates, April 4th, June 30th, and November 12th, Jupiter and Pluto are going to connect in an initiation. And that's when we can also call in the miracles, but also call in this new reality of we are one family. As human beings, we're one species. We are not separate. We cannot be separated. Air and water and soil and the basic resources are basic rights for all living creatures. And so this is the new way we're going to work it out. And what's going to happen is humans have to take up the mantle a little bit. We have to, like I said, be responsible for our little corner, do better in our little corner of the world, and that will reverberate out. So the other big alignment that's happening is on Saturday, 3/21. So right, we're still in this equinox zone. Saturn's moving into Aquarius, which is, again, another sign of the community and your role within it, what that may be. Whether it's to lead or receive, either way, we all need community. It's hard to do this alone, and at the same time, there's a lot of work that we have to do for ourselves. So we're supported in shifting the focus of what we're building now from what we can be responsible for what serves the community the best. And so we're planting seeds for that. And all of this leads to the end of the year when we really initiate a new truth and purpose in Aquarius again. So that Aquarius energy is mostly affecting those of you who have Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus, Scorpio activated. It's part of what's up for all of us in terms of our self-value and self-worth. What are our roles within the communities or within our families? So if you're redefining that, this is a good time to plant seeds for that. And for spring equinox, like I said, it's just a turning point, spring cleaning and clearing like Maria let us in. Resurrection and renewal is part of it, allowing, the life-death process to unfold and kind of working with it, learning how that works, and being creative. And fertility is really funny. We've talked about this all month in various ways and places, but the first time I had all this rabbit energy around me, for the first time I put her on my altar. And now, today, I did pull a few cards, Maria. I wasn't sure if you were going to be able to. Rabbit came up again. So I want to talk about the cards I pulled as well, but I want you to know about the energy and what's supported for this time, because you have a good 6 weeks for this space clearing and energy cleansing and slowly open and expand. Think how the flowers do it. They pop, but then it takes a little while for them to open. So if we've been conceiving a new vision for 2020, right now is the time where we start taking the little baby steps to making it happen. And think of a real baby. You would create the nest. You would get it together for in the baby's room and all that, all the little things you need for this new life you're bringing in, whether it's a creative baby or a real baby. You have to have space for it, and that's when you're creating on faith. You're walking by faith. Build it and they will come. This is what I'm doing. This is the harvest that you're looking to have in 6 months from now. So I think some of the cards will help us in understanding what other support we have as well, what's on the table for what we're facing. So the cards, I'm not going to read word for word, but I'll put it in a PDF in the post-call notes for you, but it was really amazing. So like I said earlier, when Maria said right now, I pulled a card. And what was really coming through was sort of issue, action, outcome. So we can look at the first three as what's up in the general baseline. And then I like to look at above and below, the top card and the bottom card in the deck. And the way that I interpret those most of the time is that the above card is guidance and support for navigating in the world, and the bottom card is for navigating internally. And then I did pull a shadow card. That was fascinating for this time as well. And something else that came up, I think, on one of the Instagrams this week, one of the other videos that I did, the talks I had that are up on my YouTube channel if you guys want to look into that. But what I pulled was rebirth, guidance, new vision. So if we look at it, we can look at it any way we want. We can look at it as past, present, future. We can look at it as issue, action, outcome. You can look at it as just a basic, like I said, baseline of guidance for now for spring equinox and for the next 6 weeks, essentially. Oh, by the way, I do have a spring equinox reading. That's only $25 if you want that. I'll put the links in there for that as well. But it's a little longer than this. I just did this for us and for our group today. And that's the other thing. I like to do these group readings because it always brings in a little something for everyone. So the rebirth card is a really pretty card of a camel sitting down like they do with a lion on its back and then a child kind of growing out of the lion. So you see how those are three different creatures. And rebirth has to do with how many times we rebirth ourselves and we come into a new level of being that expresses in a whole new way. That's what spring equinox is all about. It's rebirthing of spring. We go through the Pisces is the womb time. Aries is the new baby. And so we're in that zone of developing, like I said, the vision for 2020. What do you want to create? What do you want to build? Who do you want to play with? How do you want to feel and look and be set up 6 months from now or 9 months from now? Because that's about the stretch of influence that the seeds we plant at this time are happening. The other thing to consider is if you are at some kind of base, new beginning, 0 point of possibilities, that, you're going to know a lot more in 6 to 9 months as well. But you still want to call in the vision that you're going for. You don't want to get I like to be clear about what I'm going for because then your results are more direct. If you're going to be ambiguous, you kind of get ambiguous results. If you're inconsistent, you're going to get inconsistent results. But when you're consistent, and this is another trick to communing with your ancestors and angels and animal spirit guides, consistency, going to the same place at the same time, lighting a candle, being still, receiving their message. If they know you're coming at that same time all the time, they're ready to talk when you get there. So rebirth something. Rebirth some aspect of yourself, your life, your environment, your job, your family. I renegotiate with my family all the time, and I think it's a good thing, and I recommend it for others. Our second card was guidance. It was and rebirth was number 10. So for my numbers people, we have a 10 was rebirth. Guidance was number 3, and this has a beautiful kind of angelic creature floating through the universe, and it looks like a human in the background. But this is our inner guidance, our intuition, our knowing, which, again, we're all wired for. So learning to trust that takes practice. It's like a muscle. You got to work it. But the more you work it, the better you get at honoring that guidance. And even if it goes against everybody in front of you, if you are protecting yourself and you're doing what you have to do to be balanced and whole and effective at whatever it is you're trying to do, then you have to follow that even when others don't understand. And there's probably going to be a lot of that for a little while. So really knowing yourself, trusting yourself. And some people have a hard time because we've all made bad decisions that led us down the wrong road, and now the trust of self is a little eroded. So if you need to, do a little healing around that. Trusting yourself after making bad decisions is a process. And then even then, you got to practice because there's still that little gremlin in your head that's like, well, you were wrong before. So, we've got to work that constantly and really clean that up. So learning to trust your inner guidance, it's like you'll be right more than you're wrong. But what I tell my son, who's 23 and just learning how to follow intuition at all, is that when you're wrong, pay attention. What went wrong? Where were you off? Where did you not assess? What detail did you miss? How can you not do that the next time? There's a practice to that. There's a rhythm to that. And all issue, action, outcome, we look at the new vision, which is number 12 in the major arcana. So interesting numbers here, 10, 12, and 3. We work a lot of Trinity energy around here. 3, 6, 9, 12 is our annual rhythm that I've just talked about that we can really sync up with because it's wired for our body. And new vision is just what it means. It's this beautiful Maria-like dancer over here, and she's got a Merkaba behind her and the sun and all the colors. Actually, it looks like there might be a man. It's a man and a woman. I never noticed the man. Isn't that funny, y'all? Sorry. But the new vision we're all calling in is the togetherness, is the unity. Being unified within helps us do better with others. And the above and below cards were the above in the world, we need some maturity. We need some maturity. Call every ounce of it up that you can. Internally, we're flowering. And this was the queen of rainbows, and she's just sitting on a lotus and flinging seeds all around. So my reminder with that card is that the seeds that we're planting, plant as many as you can because they're not all going to pop. That's just the way it goes in a garden. You do what you can, you till the soil, you water it, you love it, you pay attention, you prune, you do what you got to do. They don't all pop. And they don't all pop in the time we think they should all often. And I've had some weird seasons down here in Florida with my plant life and learning how they work. So really being present with your life, with your own life force, whatever's going on within you and the life force around you. But internally, we're blossoming something, we're feeding something truly. And externally, we've grown into some new level of maturity that we can handle. But it's what we're going to need to navigate the world. And the shadow card, what to look out for, is the second time this week we've gotten it, is the miser, which is number 4. And it's an older woman with a treasure trove of jewels, and she's got this kind of hoarding stance. So for those who are in that zone of there's not enough and hoarding and all the crazy that we've seen going on, that's not true. That is such an illusion. That's such a farce. We can do this better. There is enough for everyone. It's just about reallocating and doing things a different way. And that's what we're seeding, is the new way to do it. And so I thought about it as I was doing the reading. We might want some animal assistance. I shuffled. I was in the zone with Maria. We were breathing and doing the chakras. It was so incredible. Rabbit for above. So in the world, proper use of cycles. So learning the rhythm, I think, is our clue for this time. And internally below was jaguar. Reclaim power and rewards. This is 6 and 7, by the way, for numbers. So we're so supported. And Maria, you might want to come back and chime in on any of this, or if we want to open it up and let others ask any questions now before we go into the final meditation. But that's a lot of information. When we go into our journey, we're going to ask for a piece of medicine or a message that's just for you. And what might come up is a picture of in your mind of a crystal or an animal or a symbol of some kind that you recognize. I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, so Black Panther has always represented my mother. And I went through a deep process after she died that took 5 years. And when I knew I had been through the process, I started getting other confirmations too, and I kind of knew I had finally healed a piece with my mother, of the mother wound, as it were. I had a black baby panther curl up at the foot of my bed, and it was with me for about a month. It was wild. And I don't usually see in the other realms. I can sense and feel and things, but I don't always see, and this was clear as day. It was crazy. I just felt a really good renewal of connection with my mother. So that's the kind of symbols that we look for in Journey, things that you recognize that you're looking for. You know, asking the question invites the answer. So when you go into any kind of meditation, I look at meditation as a time to time out and empty the consciousness and not necessarily do too much receiving, but just be still. Now, it takes a lot just to do that. But then, of course, you receive intuitions and guidance and things that come through at that time, and you want to take notes. And then journeying, we're actually literally going in with a question, asking for a specific piece of medicine to help with, again, more specific your question will be the more specific your answer as well. So if you're wanting to know what you need to have to heal something, do I need a certain crystal? Do I need a certain plant? Do I need a certain animal friend and ally that I can learn from? And what we do is we pay attention to the animal. Hold on, Maria's texting to unmute everyone, including me. I will try. Okay, maybe that'll work. I forgot what I was saying, the animals. Okay, we'll come back to it. Let me see if this works, everyone. Okay.
Hello.
Free for all. Maria.
Hi. I testify to everything Kelly said, and she said it, and it's true. And I did cards while you were doing cards for everybody. And Kelly and I didn't talk about this, but I did them the same way you did. I had 3 cards, 3 different decks, and I did tops and bottoms of all of them the same way. And it's so amazing how synchronistic everything is. So I won't go into as much detail as Kelly did, but I will call them out. And we're going to have pictures and things that we're going to put together and put out when we put out this post so you all can see all the visual support behind our virtual gathering today. So before I start, were you finished? Because you just told me to jump in there.
I did. I was talking about the animals in a special way. Oh, studying the animals and their traits. So if you're in your journey today and a certain animal comes to you, do a little research, like Google it, and look at its eating habits, look at its sleeping habits, look at its mating habits, look at its how they move, what is that called, migrating, their migration habits, because we can learn from them in that way as well. And then think about whatever animal comes to you, consider the element. So if they're earth animals or birds are for air, in the water babies, and the transformers are like the butterflies, the things that change form are related to fire. So just think of that when we're in our journey. And Maria, I think that's all I really wanted to say, and just thank you for having me. And let's do it again sometime. And we'll be in person and have more fun. It'll be fun. It'll be a different thing, but we'll have fun.
Right. Well, I just thank you so much, Kelly, for just putting this together technically, because as everybody can see, technology loves me sometimes. I appreciate you getting this all together, and this has just been such beautifulness going forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take pictures and videos of the cards that I have. Kelly and I will get together and figure out how to send it out to everybody and or post it. And we're going to just go in right now for our Reiki healing light and our shamanic journey. And so I'm going to invite Kelly. She's going to do the shamanic sacred rattling. And Kelly, I invite you, if you could just lead them just into their sacred space, the beginning part of their journey. Then we're going to leave you all there, and I'm going to be there with you holding the Reiki light. And what we're doing is allowing our body to just surrender to its natural healing abilities, to release stress and to build our immune system and raise our vibration higher and higher and higher. Okay? So whenever Kelly's ready, we'll start that. Make sure you're either sitting or lying in a really comfortable position, and just allow yourself to be very, very, very open to receive, and just begin by focusing on your breath.
Okay. Deep breath, everyone. Let's just relax. That was a lot of information to take in. A lot of it may have been new to some of you. And just a new way of looking at things is good, though. And that's what these kind of shake-ups force us to do, is how is this perfect? Any challenge that you're going through, anything in your body, what is it good for? What is it trying to tell you? What's the message? As I said earlier, we want to just go in asking for that little piece that your personal, individual ancestors, angels, and animal spirit guides, everyone has their own team. We have our DNA ancestors, the affinity ancestors, which are those who we are extended family or those artists that we really love and respect and resonate with. Those are affinity ancestors. And then the long line that we're all connected to. So we call in 3 rings of ancestors, benevolent, loving, light-filled, heart-centered ancestors that have chosen to guide and walk with us this lifetime. Everyone has their own individual team. I have my husband, myself, and our only child, so we are a little trinity here. But very often I'll see all 3 of our teams of angels together, and that just goes back as far as the eye can see. You can't even see the end of that kind of protection. So you're layered up by your family. It's just really golden and beautiful, and you can tap in anytime you need to. So maybe put your hands on your heart. Breathe as if you're breathing through and from your heart. Feel that expansion. Let go and let God. Try to keep your breathing really rhythmic throughout the rattle in the journey, and make that connection above, below, and at the heart. Connect to as much joy as you possibly can in this moment that awakens and stimulates the heart. Sometimes if we are in a dark place or facing a lot of challenges all at one time and it's hard to conjure that feeling of joy, I look to the little 1-year-old baby frolicking on the beach, because they seem like they remember. It seems like they know. They don't have words, but they're so happy, and that joy, it just floods my heart and takes me right in. So I share that visual for anyone struggling today to find the balance and find the light within. We're releasing everything emotional and material down through your energetic centers to the core of the earth. Mother can handle it. She can compost it into usable energy and send it back up as nutrient. We're going to release everything mental and spiritual up to Father Sky's cosmos. We're releasing all the mental anxiety, anxiousness, irrational fears and phobias. Deep breath, keeping it rhythmic. All that you cannot use or integrate, assimilate and release, may it be cleared now. Breathe into that cleared field around you and relax. Your breath is the closest thing you have to reset things for your body and your mind and your spirit. And there are infinite numbers of ways to breathe. Some breath work will calm you down and relax you, help you sleep. And there's other breath work to liven you up and wake you up and get you energized. When we practice, we get better at that too. So I want you to go to a happy place in nature. What is your happy place in nature? Where do you love to just be? The ocean, lakes or rivers, sweet water, salt water, mountains, cliffs or rocks, the redwoods, the really big trees. Wherever you feel most comfortable and connected to the land, to Mother. Our bodies are truly wired for this land. We can lay on the earth, lay our bodies on the earth and receive healing electrons. It's like a free healing Reiki session from Mother. So do that when you can. That's why they say walk barefoot when you can, in grass or sand or on the earth in some capacity. And there's no industry, there's no other humans. You're perfectly comfortable. And there you can feel there are animals around you. Find some place to relax and post up and open to receive. Sort of set that intention. Ask for an animal or an angel. Some of you may be familiar with the archangels. Archangel Sandalphon helps us with our root chakra. Archangel Gabriel helps us with our creative center. Archangel Michael helps us with our power center and solar plexus. Archangel Raphael helps at the heart. The throat is Zadkiel, and the third eye is Uriel, and the crown is Metatron. So maybe you feel some light opening up there, or any of your animals or ancestors. Benevolent souls on the other side here to give you a message or a symbol or something you can bring back that you can look into for support. Okay? So deep breath. Smell the smells, feel the feels in your nature spot, and open to receive. See what is magnetized to you. Let's go. your call back, give your thanks, and wrap things up with whoever's been communing with you. Make an offering of cornmeal or tobacco or a lock of hair, shell, a rock, a piece of tree bark. Say your thank yous. And come on back to here and now. Hopefully you have a journal and pen to take some notes. If you have to remember what came through, who came through, what little symbol do you remember, what did you see in your conscious awareness. And if nothing came, that happens sometimes on the first go-round, you can come back to the recording and try again. It was only 8 minutes, and that's a good little stretch to go inward. And come on back.
Well, I want to close us out the vortex circle first. So just right now, universe, creator, source of all there is, divine mother goddess, ancestors, and spirit guides. We come right now, giving you praise and thanksgiving. We ask, we allow, and we align with this divine healing and guidance that has happened here today. We thank you for your divine providence and protection as we walk in our sovereignty and remain steadfast in the truth of who we are and whose we are. We close up this circle and this vortex right now. Only what is needed will remain. Ashe. All right, everybody.
Ashe.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Sister Shamon. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And reach out if you need to, Kelly at Karmic Tools, if you do have afterthoughts and questions. Like I said, I know that's a lot to process. And if you want to stay in the zone and enjoy Sunday, go continue church another way, go for it. I love it. We are so blessed.
Glory to God.
Yes.
Anybody else have would like to just say a word or how you feel or just kind of check in a little bit?
I heard peaceful.
Peace.
Okay, peaceful. Yes.
Oh, yes. Peace. This is Leah. Just to let you know.
Hi, Leah.
Hi. How are you?
Leah.
Thank you, Kelly. I do appreciate it. Hello, Mr. Sean. I do have a question because my animal that I saw was deer. The deer was quite clear eating dandelion, not dandelion, but it then turned into the panther. So it was back and forth between the two.
Ooh.
So, yes, it was a deer and panther with dandelion.
Well, I think that tells you how that's a wonderful combo for you, the individual. I feel like that's your gentleness and your power. That's beautiful. You've got both going on.
It's like balancing out. In the yellow, you're eating the dandelion, the yellow, that's in the solar plex chakra, and we've been doing a lot with that. And so you're getting that balance now. And dandelion is a form of medicine.
It is. So, it's good for digestion. So you're digesting life as it is. Take in the nutrient, release the waste. What's non-essential, let it go.
Okay.
Leah, I saw a deer too. It's Tasha.
Oh, good. That's,
Hi, Tasha.
like we said.
Hi, Tasha. Tasha
and see, that happens when we get together. We see the same animals. We had a whole Black Panther night one day. It was, like, really wild.
Okay.
We all saw the same animal.
And then, then that resonates with the cards that I picked that resonated with you on the other side. So maybe that's what Spirit wanted me to do or send them at the end or whatever, because just like Kelly says, there's this big thing of us having to step up in maturity spiritually. And the ego card that I got for what do we need, what was our blind spot that's blocking us from our spiritual gifts, and also that's blocking us not being able to see our ego. And so I got the ego card. It says ego blames and spirit is accountable. And then, but, we're being accountable in new ways, in divine feminine ways, because then we got the shaman card. It says trust in higher forces. Then we got the Shaolin master card, be graceful in movement and action. Then the other ego card was ego grasp and spirit cradles. And then the whole reading was behind the first card, which was divine consciousness, which yesterday I did this whole reading, and a lot of these cards came back up today. And it's saying that we are being activated, our divine consciousness, so that we can be accountable to rise up higher. We have, if we think it and believe it and say it, it's going to manifest. We already know it because that's what we're looking at. So the other card we got was the seer. It says, see beyond the current situation. Yes, pay attention, know what's going on, but also know Spirit is asking us to see beyond this, to know that we can go higher. And it is, then we got affirmations and the chakras to go within. That's how we do it. And to do an exploration within for right now, which is going to help us on the without. Then we got at the end what was going to be the result. It says that we would be able to enjoy happiness and success, because then the sun card came out. Again, with the sun, another part of the key of this whole thing. And then the last thing was, what do we need to know at the end of this so that we can have faith? And then the ego card came out. It says, ego settles, but spirit reaches. And the divine consciousness card is this person with his arms outreach, and then the divine is just reaching down straight through the crown chakra, through the third eye, all the way down. And then it's like two sides of it. So there's one side of us that's asking us, that lower side, it is to not to be afraid and go to the old paradigm of masculine. When we're afraid, we reach out and we start fighting. To go to the new pyramid of the divine feminine side of that, to pull it in, to go on the inside, to work with grace in your action, to trust higher force, to use our affirmations, to cradle instead of grasp. Anything we resist persists. We don't have to fight anything. And so that's what we're being called to do. And that is going to raise our vibration and everything else. We don't have to fight it. We have to see beyond it. I just think it's just so beautiful.
Ooh, girl, I'm going to use that quote on my weekly forecast. We don't have to fight it. We just have to see beyond it. Everybody write that down. Yes. Oh, my God. That's a quote. That's a SistaShamanism.
And then don't get me to preaching right now, because you know I'm outside in the sunshine and I'm on fire right now. Because let's talk about this coronavirus. Your dome. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. It's for us. It's not against us. There's nothing new under the sun. This virus, this whatever it is, has been here since the dawn of time, and it has been in us since the dawn of time.
I was just going to say, time out, because we can't go too long on the recording, but I do want to validate what you said, is that the virus is in all of us. This is all viruses. Viruses live inside us. Exactly. They have to be activated. And if your consciousness is such that it can activate it, and if you can keep that clean and in the light and on the higher level, you're not going to activate it. So, this is something, again, our bodies are wired for. We know how to do this.
Exactly. And there's power in our spoken word. And how is it activated? It's activated by the power in everybody's spoken word, in our thoughts, in our consciousness. So right now we have a push and pull, because half of us understand that it's working through whatever it is. The other half are scared to death, so we're in the middle of a push and pull. But if we just stop, that's what the universe said, just stop. And I am going to agree with you when you talked about let's slow down for Mother Gaia. I just read yesterday 80% of the emissions in Italy have gone away in 40 days because can't nobody drive. Don't tell me this earth cannot regenerate itself. And if the earth can regenerate itself like that, we can regenerate ourselves like this. God,
and we are. We're generating creatures. It's a little slower.
Exactly.
But it takes some time.
Then we can heal, Mother, heal ourselves, get our energy all high. And then when this is over, we walk out. We the people that are the lighthouses, and everybody else that's lost days and confused. We'll come to the light, people. Let's go. Okay, I got to go.
Peace and love. Carry on Sunday right now. We claiming it. So by fall harvest, our community will have expanded. We will all be working with whatever we've birthed this spring, whatever comes up in the next 3 months, we will be harvesting in the next 6. So just stay connected to what you're creating and stay connected to your power, because you have a lot of power that isn't tied to outer influences and things. It
you
too
are
is
the
regenerating.
forerunners.
I love you.
Yes.
All right, ladies. Thank you for
forerunners.
being here.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
We got to tell everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace and love.